Slingin Dirt with Staley, an in-depth conversation with the drivers themselves about the inner workings of a dirt track racer's world. Dive deep under the helmet and inside the mind of the people who ride the high side, lift that left front wheel, and teeter on the edge of being out of control. New Slingin Dirt with Staley starts now. How's it going, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to a brand new episode of Slingin Dirt with Staley. I'm your host, Alan Staley, and on this week's show, I interview my first ever national champion. Recorded in his home shop near Polo, Missouri, I sit down with the Westfall GMC Rage Chassis Prime Racing Products Fusion Graphics Modified number 21C Smooth Chad Clancy. Chad and I discuss the highs and lows of competition, how winning during the summer begins during the winter, and what else he still has to prove behind the wheel. Plus, Chad gives his own Mount Rushmore of racing and more, starting right now on an all-new Slingin Dirt with Staley. Quick little side editor's note, though. I am trying some new recording and editing techniques and software, so my apologies for the overall quality. This project's still kind of a work in progress, and I'll try to do better over time. Thanks again for listening, and without further ado, my interview with Smooth Chad Clancy. How did you get into racing? When did you start?
My grandpa raced at the Old Riverside and Lakeside, and I was young whenever it closed. But I remember then growing up, I was at a racetrack with my grandparents every weekend watching, and my uncles, they raced at Bethany and Jamesport. Whenever I was just a teenager then, and my dad's always been around truck pulling, and so I've been in some kind of motorsports all my life growing up. So then, when I was old enough to race go-karts in '95, I was 15. I sold everything I had to buy my own go-kart for $800.
Started your own team right there, and that's where it started?
We raced, and my dad helped me, and we raced Richmond and Warrensburg every weekend.
Yeah.
And then I wrecked the go-kart one year, and that was enough for me, so we built a street stock.
You wanted something a little more safe, roll cage and everything?
Right. Something we were familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
So my brother and I, put a car together, just really real low budget deal, and back then we had 40 street stocks every week, and it was some pretty tough competition, so just to make the A main was a big deal to us. So that's where it all started.
Well, the 21C, the number, is there any big significance there? Why the 21? I know the C, Clancy, Chad, of course. Is there any number?
I mean, I was number 98 just for the year I graduated when I started out, and that's really when I started racing full time. And back then, Caster didn't allow you to have a letter after your number, and there was the 98 already taken. So then I wanted 17, it was already taken. Yeah. So then 21, I just like the look of the number on cars, so that's what I went with.
Nice, I like that. Are you a music fan? Like, if you're going to get pumped for a race, do you have to have a certain song playing in the background?
AC/DC, pretty much anything AC/DC will get you motivated.
Well, what about a race day ritual? Do you have something that you have to do in order for it to just be complete?
Not really. I don't eat a lot, but drink Monster and maybe a Reese's Sticks. That'd be about it.
Is that your go-to combination if you're going to stop off at a gas station?
It's not really a racing thing.
How do you deal with that internal fear? Because let's face it, racing it's a dangerous sport. How do you deal with that? What's the general mindset like when you're in the staging area?
I don't think about it too much. I feel safer in a race car than I do driving down the highway, honestly. So I just make sure my car is maintained right, nothing's going to fall off of it. And I'm really picky on anything as far as wheels being tight and stuff. I like to double check everything, and I'll probably upset some people that help me, but I don't feel comfortable unless I check a lot of it myself.
Is that during the week when you get there to the track? Like, how many hours do you spend working on the car during the week to get it prepped for race day?
I mean, generally, depends on what you tear up the week before, obviously, but a couple nights a week, so probably 6 to 8 hours a week.
Yeah. What about
nights. Tire work's a huge deal. That's an evening in itself, doing tire work.
Just the grinding of the tires and getting them ready.
And siping and grooving and all that kind of stuff.
There's a lot that goes into it. What about like during the off season? Because we're in your shop right here. You've got the car up on jack stands. How much time do you spend during the off season working on it?
This winter I've been pretty lazy because I haven't been undecided what I want to do, what races I want to hit at the beginning of the year. But Quite a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, we tear it completely down, new body, and go through everything and repack everything and replace anything that's worn. And depending on what motor package we're doing, go through that. So this year between the USRA and IMCA split up, I'm kind of undecided what races I want to race. So I'm just getting started on the stuff I have to get done.
Where's the motivation come from? You've got all the hours spent in the shops, the weekends spent away from home. I mean, it takes its toll. Where does that motivation come from to continue?
For us, it really keeps all of our family together, really keeps everybody. I've always done it, it's all I've known. So when I've tried to cut back, I get kind of cranky because they're all my friends. I'd have to get a whole new group of friends if I would ever quit, because I would never be able to go to a race again, or I wouldn't be able to quit, I'm sure. But just, I enjoy working out in the shop, and it's kind of my stress reliever. So.
You kind of mentioned the family there. It seems like that's a really important thing in your life, because you go to a racetrack, your mom, she's always in the stands. I don't think she really misses a race. Does that give you extra motivation, or does it give you something to kind of dread? Because if you mess up on the track, she's going to let you know it too.
Yeah, she's supportive no matter what. It's never our fault. It's always someone else's fault. So it's pretty entertaining to see her get that excited. And I mean, my brother and I both like to try to do well to make her happy, and everyone. It's a lot more fun when you're doing well and everything's going right. So.
Do you go into a race while you're sitting in the staging area? Do you go into it with a sense of a plan of attack, what you want to do on the track, or is it all kind of fly by the seat of the pants? Whatever happens, I'm going to be ready for it.
Yeah, I've got several things that I look at as soon as I pull out on the racetrack. I don't want to give away all my secrets, but
understandable.
Yeah, I'm looking at everything. I mean, as soon as I pull on the racetrack, I'm thinking about what I'm going to do on the next restart, or how I'm going to restart, or I'm not just looking in the stands or whatever. I'm thinking of the next move.
As you look back over your career, is there ever just a race or a season, because I kind of think I know the answer, where everything just lined up and you felt like, yep, this is where I belong, I'm supposed to be here?
Yeah, that's probably 2014 when we won the national championship. It was we got wrecked several times, but even when we would get in a wreck, we were still able to win or finish second or top 5 out of it on a bad night. Bad night would still turn into a pretty decent night. So that was just one of the years we raced 55 nights and had 52 top 5s. And so it was, to have one DNF out of that many starts, that was pretty.
It was an amazing accomplishment, an amazing year. 2014 USRA B-Mod National Champion. What does that mean to you?
It's cool. I mean, I always say I would never try it again, just because of the stress involved.
Yeah.
But 2016, we ended up 3rd in national points and wasn't really trying. It was kind of a good race. We just raced hard and had good finishes, and it kind of worked out. So it's one of the deals. If you're ever racing I just kind of race, and if you're there at the end, the last month, and you got a shot at something, then go for it.
Make a big push there at the end.
But yeah, trying to race 3-4 nights a week, it's hard having
it had
a full-time job.
Take its toll. What was the biggest thing you learned to kind of help your racing program from that year?
Not to worry about what everybody else thinks, and not to worry about. You find out who your real friends are in a lot of it. So, but that's just to have fun and not lose track of that. And it's not near as much fun whenever you're stressing over what someone's saying on Facebook or something like that.
And it seemed like this last year, kind of doing double duty every once in a while with the stock car and the modified. It looked like you were starting to have a lot more fun, especially in that stock car. You were racking up the wins. And Smooth, it's a nickname. It speaks wonders whenever people declare that about you. What does that mean to you? It speaks about your driving styles. It's just smooth.
Yeah, everyone's always kind of said that about me. Your dad gave me that nickname, and I guess that's just how I drive. I don't put myself in the wrong spot and tear up. That's why I've always been pretty successful. In every championship I've ever went after, I've won. So every single, whether it's a track championship or national championship, every year we've tried, we've never not won a championship. So, I mean, it's just, I don't know, I guess just, it pays off. I don't like to tear stuff up. I like to keep my stuff nice. And starting out, several years, if I tore something up, I didn't have the money to race the next week. So I've always learned to respect mine and everyone else's equipment.
Helps you
I still use that, but these days you have to be aggressive at the same time. So it's kind of hurt me. In the earlier years of my racing, everyone always said I was too conservative. But that's just how I had to race to be able to race the next week.
You look around the shop here, you got trophies all lining on the side. It kind of pays off. Late model, A mod, B mod, stock car, Grand Nationals. You pretty much raced them all. Is there anything on dirt that you want to do that you haven't yet?
Win a modified race. Believe it or not, I've never won a modified feature. So I've got a lot of seconds, and I led every lap of one, and Bud Wilson passed me coming out of turn 4 one night. So that right now that's a pretty good memory.
Yeah, that is a good memory.
So and we laughed about it. He set me up, and I tried to block him, and he got me on the last corner, and I remember that forever. So.
Yeah. What was your favorite class to drive?
Oh, B-mods was probably the most fun, obviously, because we were always pretty successful at it. That makes a lot of fun. But here lately, like at the Nationals, racing a stock car was probably the most fun I've had in a long time. So I could see myself in a year or two just laying back and getting a stock car and just concentrating on that maybe, but because it's a lot less expensive and just as much fun. So. And
the competition level is just as high up there in the stock car division, because you've got a lot of talented drivers out there. Whenever you're competing against somebody with the competition level that high, does it make it that much easier? Does it give you more confidence knowing that they've got control of their car as well, or is it more your defensive driving? You're just kind of trying to stay out of their way.
No, I'd much rather race against guys with a lot of talent. That way I know that we can race and not have to worry about wrecking or, avoiding, playing defense. And that way, I know if I look at who's starting in front of me on how I'm going to set the car up and kind of where I'm going to run, because you usually know, depending on track conditions, what the type of driver they are and where they're going to race. So you've got to either follow them or set your car up to go somewhere else.
Do you ever get a sense of, paralysis by analysis, where you overthink a situation? You're waiting for something to happen that never does?
With this A-mod, definitely.
Yeah.
There's a lot to adjust, and just me not knowing. There's so much involved in them on the shocks and suspension. And I tell you, I got pretty frustrated this year with it, and just started going back to my own B-mod setup. That's something I knew, and there's several nights I'm pretty sure if I had my B-mod, I would have been faster than I was.
Then you were in A-mod. So. With this, it's not really a struggle, because you're always a top 5, a consistent runner. Is there ever a sense of, no, I'm done, I don't want to do this, I can't deal with the hassle, or is the love for the sport too deep?
Yeah, I've gotten that way, definitely. It's just my kids are old enough playing sports all the time, and you get that guilt trip if but I've, like the past couple of years, that's always been a priority. I haven't missed that, and it still will be. So that sometimes that puts a big burden on it, and if things aren't going right, it makes you want to just sell everything. But I know I've done it long enough that if that happens, just take a break and
it'll come back.
Yeah.
Is there anything in a race car that you want to do more of? Like, is there any chance of an asphalt in your future, or is it straight dirt?
Oh, around here, it'd definitely have to be dirt, but I have never drove an asphalt car. It'd be something that'd be neat to do. I always thought a Craftsman truck style deal would be a blast.
It'd be pretty interesting. It'd be
too old for that stuff.
Interesting to see you out there in a Craftsman truck with your smooth driving style and your patience behind the wheel. I think that would be something to see there. Is there any specific tracks that you like more? Are you a long track versus a short track kind of guy, a high bank or a low bank?
Oh, dry slick is the main thing. I prefer it to be smooth and slick top to bottom, but we all got to race on the same track as long as it's not rough. But Lakeside, I've had a lot of success there and haven't raced there. Since 2008, first 2 times I raced there, we went down there and won. And I guess it fits my driving style. In every class I've ever competed in out there, I've been
always a contender.
Pretty good. Yep. So Lakeside's probably my favorite around here, but Deer Creek and some of those places are pretty.
Yeah, it's not just around here that you race. You've been up in Minnesota. You've gone around and raced the tracks that aren't local in that 2014 campaign where you're going for the.
Lamont down that it closed now. That was probably my favorite racetrack around, and unfortunately it shut down. But
let's get off the topic of racing real quick. What is your dream car if you're going to go down to the street and get some groceries? And money's not an option. What do you want to go get groceries in?
Oh, probably an old Chevy 2 or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Something that you fix up, or you just going to buy it?
Yeah, I can do it myself.
Of course. The people of Hollywood are calling. They're going to make a movie about your life. Who's going to play you?
Oh, maybe Nicolas Cage.
I like that.
I like Nicolas Cage.
All right, so there's a lot of changes going on in the racing world right now. You kind of hinted at it a little bit. It's still up in the air. Is there anything decided as to what the 21C, the Chad Clancy team, is going to do next year?
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely going to run mostly IMCA stuff at US 36 in Bethany. I'm going to run John's stock car full time and my modified full time. So it's going to be pretty tough running two cars back to back. It was pretty grueling at times, but that's our plan. We're going to try it if it gets to be where it's just too much and we'll have to rethink it. But,
are you thinking a points championship in the future, maybe a regional championship or something like that?
Yeah, I talked to John about. I've never ran IMCA that much. I've never been to an IMCA banquet or anything, so if it's something to try, I mean, it'd be really neat to win the track championship in stock car and modifieds, but that's just one of the deals. If we're there at the end and we're close,
Well, I will say there's a spot on that wall right over there for another big banner, national champion.
That deal's pretty tough. I don't know that we're ready for that.
If things are going good halfway through the season, is there a thought of maybe the Boone Nationals going up there competing?
Oh, yeah. I switched my car. We went up there and raced that this year. So the last 5 years I've been going to Fountain City, Wisconsin to some of the big other sanctioned races, and I had a lot of fun up there. But this year I wanted to go back to Boone and give it a try. And it was a lot of fun, so yeah, we'll definitely go back to that.
Slide job or crossover? You're coming out of turn 4. How do you want to pick up the checkers?
Definitely crossover, I'd say.
Yeah.
It's kind of the
make
your hand out the window and give them the bird on the way by when you do it.
Make them think that they have you, and then just pull it right out from underneath them.
Slide jobs can end pretty dirty.
That's true. Anyone you want to give a shout out? Special thanks for your racing program helping you out along the way.
Yeah, I mean 2008 till 2014. If it wasn't for Mark Smart and Scott Fugit, I wouldn't have been racing. 'Cause they were the two that made it happen for me. So I got to thank them for that. And there's so many guys. Westfall, my work, Dustin and Blythe Boney at Prime Racing. My family, my mom, Tracy, all my kids for putting up with it. And Raid's Chassis. Randy Grimmett, he's kind of my lifelong idol, I guess. He's my advice guy. If I'm thinking something through or thinking about changing something, I'm always calling him, asking his opinion.
Advice,
But yeah, I mean, Adams and Eaton, Hal Farms, Darren Shaw, he keeps my cars looking good. Jim's Barbershop, they're my sponsor. They're in Liberty. They've sponsored me since the day I started racing. And Jim and Teresa, they've been great to me. Zach, he's actually here helping me right now. He just moved down here from Iowa, him and his daughter, last summer, and he started helping me. So he lives close, so I've got to thank him for helping me out.
It takes a lot of people. It's a team effort.
Yep.
Final question on the show. It's kind of the staple of the show. Your Mount Rushmore of racing. It can be all dirt, all NASCAR, a blend of both, some Formula One if you want to. Who's your top 4 drivers of all time?
Oh, I like Kenny Wallace. He's really good for the sport and just a great guy.
He's a great ambassador. I can give you that one.
I like Kenny Wallace a lot. I mean, Dustin Boney, as far as local guy, he's been been my favorite. Just watching him drive a race car is amazing. Some of the things he does. And Randy Grimmett, he's another one that's been. A lot of people don't even know it, but he was a figure 8 champion multiple times at Old Riverside and Lakeside, and he's won quite a bit of races that most people don't know. They just know him as a push truck guy.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's a big time racer back in the day. Not too long ago, he raced a lot even. But Jonathan Davenport, someone like that, in the late model world. But
I like that. Is there any chance we'll ever see you in a sprint car?
No. I think my mom would have a stroke if I ever got in a sprint car. It's the only thing I've never driven, but I'd like the hot lap one maybe just for the feel of it.
Just to see how it takes. Yeah.
I really have no interest in it. They're kind of their own breed. So.
All right, buddy. That's about all I got for you right now. Thank you for being on. It's been an honor to have you on here. I appreciate it.